Meliodas, confirmed evil. Confirmed evil. Like, I mean, we've known about it for the past couple chapters now, the way his personality was a little bit off, but yeah, I think the final page, the final page clarifies enough that Meliodas is definitely a little bit different compared to what he was earlier on in the series, because that smile, that was completely un-Meliodas-like. That was not a facial expression you would see Meliodas make. So, this is the question I need to talk about now. Does this mean that some part of the Demon King came along with Meliodas once Meliodas revived? Or is the reason why Meliodas seems to be a little bit different, why he seems eviler than he was, could be because he's awakening more of his demonic power. For instance, his demonic abilities that he has, what if it is slowly, like, tainting his soul? For instance, making him a little bit darker, someone he normally wasn't. Because he was so detached from his demonic abilities, he, you know, was probably a gentler soul. He was someone that was more compassionate and kind. But now that he's gotten his power back, now that he's stronger, he's growing more attached to this demonic power, and it's probably making him a little bit more savage, which we see at the end of this chapter. So those are my two questions now. One or the other most likely is going on. Either the Demon King, some part of him came back through Meliodas or twisted Meliodas in a way, or Meliodas' demonic powers that he has is changing him. Now, either way, the final part of the chapter reveals the strength level of Meliodas. Meliodas reveals that he has a 60,000 power level. Okay, now, we do know Escanor is pretty damn powerful. We know this man is incredibly strong. We don't know his exact peak yet. We don't know Escanor at his maximum. We don't really know his full max strength, and we don't know the numbers yet for Escanor. And what Meliodas said in the past, he did say Escanor was stronger than him. Now, granted, we have to remember that most likely Meliodas was talking about Escanor when he was at his peak. But at this time, though, Meliodas having a flat 60,000 power level, that's pretty strong, but I wonder exactly how that stacks up with Estarossa and also Zeldris. Those are the two characters I'm kind of curious about when they stack up to Meliodas and this power level he currently has. But right now, though, Meliodas' clone was at a 30k power level, fighting Fraudrin. Oh shit. Okay, so Fraudrin, this man, he was having a little bit of a fight and a struggle against Meliodas' clone. That was at 30k power level. But then Meliodas went back with his clone came back into him, and Meliodas now is at his full power, 60,000. And then he smiles at Fraudrin. So, you know what this means? Fraudrin, I'm sorry to say, you're probably dead as fuck. You're dead as fuck. The smile Meliodas is giving at the end of the chapter, to the way he looked at him, just, you know, overall the power level, Fraudrin, I knew you well. Sayonara, Fraudrin. You are definitely going to die. Okay. So, besides that, let's talk about the interaction between Dreyfus, Hendy, and Zarathus. So, Zarathus is not gone yet until this chapter. I thought, you know, Zarathus was already gone in last week's chapter, but apparently he was still kind of around with this week's chapter. And we get to see his final farewells to Dreyfus and Hendy, and it was very sweet and touching, and added some good character development for these two characters, and this kind of concludes their character arc they've been going through for quite a while now, since kind of like, sort of towards the beginning of the Seven Deadly Sins, we now see this kind of concluded, and I like the words Zarathus says to Hendy and Dreyfus. He says, look, you two, stop passing the blame to each other, stop passing it on to yourself, whatever it may be, you need to accept it, you're adults, just suck it up, be mature, and understand that nothing you do can change what has happened. Even if you felt bad, even if you wanted to blame yourself, there's nothing you can do to stop what has already happened. You can't change the past. The past cannot be changed. What has happened has happened. You both need to move on, mature, grow up, and be there for the people that really care for you. And so I really like the final words that Zarathus says. He gives us, you know, encouragement to these two people that actually killed him. You'd think someone that was murdered by his brother and by Hendrickson, he would get very upset, and he would be someone that would be very evil towards him, like he would be an asshole. But the way Zarathus handled it, and the way he was talking to both of them, you see how much care he had. Even though he was killed by them, he loves them both, and he gives them final words of encouragement before he passes on. He's like, you guys need to be adults. You need to be mature, carry on your life, and make sure you help everyone out. I like Zarathus. I'm kind of sad to see him go. He was a very good character while we had him. And I mean, overall, I'm willing to bet this is probably not going to be the final time we see him in the series. I mean, judging by how some characters can become spirits, we have the immortal Bond, we have the entire plot point with Elaine, and how, Bond wants to keep her alive or resurrect her, and, Meliodas. I mean, resurrection stuff has been a part of the series for a very long time now. Resurrection to rebirth and stuff. It's been something that's constantly popped up throughout Taizai since the early starts of it. So it's not something that came out of nowhere, so I highly doubt this is probably the last time we'll see of Zarathustra in the Seven Deadly Sins, but most likely it's going to be the final time for a good long while. For right now. So it's kind of sad that Gil Thunder couldn't say his, goodbyes to his father or see his father. It made me sad. I really wanted to see Zarathustra and Gil Thunder kind of have a conversation, but it didn't happen. Now, I do like how Zarathustra, he says, please give my son a message and all that, say I love him and stuff. It's just very sweet. It's a very sweet thing to see. So, Zarathustra, such a good character. I will miss him. I'll miss his comedy, to his, personality, the way he supported Dreyfus and Hendrickson. He's definitely a good character, and I definitely will miss him. So, Frondrin, he is way bigger than he was in the past, apparently. So, in last week's chapter, he came out of Dreyfus. He was kind of like, a big demon, but he wasn't as big as he was in this chapter. We see the pierce, like the hole that got put in him by Dreyfus. It was just in his leg when we saw him in this chapter, so it wasn't nothing too fatal for Frondrin. Frondrin was completely fine. He was getting pissed off, and he was about to kill both of them, but then Meliodas came in and saved the day. So that's pretty much it when it came to the chapter. The chapter is very straightforward, very simplistic. It's nothing, big, like nothing massive like we saw with earlier chapters, and that's something I've been noticing about the recent chapters of Taizai. Anyone else notice, like, the chapters of Taizai feel incredibly short, like they feel like they are over really, really quickly, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just I noticed that they're ending way sooner than normal. I don't know, it feels like that to me. But regardless though, I enjoyed the chapter. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You'll have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.